I've never doubted, and we've seen it during this campaign from England, lots of character, lots of strength, lots of physical endeavour, lots of commitment, lots of individually good things. So I'm not doubting the players, their bona fides in the sense of how they're trying or whatever. But we come back to the fact you cannot keep changing. Even the halfback comments. Why did he pick Ben Youngs to start?
Yeah. It's I don't know.
And Ben didn't have a good game.
No, and he looked like he'd been caught out when Dupont scored. I think with regards to our attacking plays, if you watch the Irish and the French, they're decoy runners, their option runners are flat to the line. They are a genuine option. English runners are wider. They're slightly deeper. The guy out the back who's getting the ball is miles away and he's wide. Defensively, that's far easier to read.
Well, if you're going to try and get the edge with a deep ball, and forgive me, people think, what do you know as a hooker? Well, I played loads of rugby in the backs, but you have to have the line absolutely precision right to the centimetre, or he's got to be flat out, because otherwise you won't get to the edge. All you'll do is create a tackle zone that's deeper than it would have been.
Yeah, and probably more isolated.
Yes,
and that's where we get turned over. But I think the French and the Irish do it really well, and they do everything tight to the line. Defensively, the guy that is marking the ball carrier and the one outside, they have a decision to make. Now, those players on the ball, from an Irish and French perspective, 9 times out of 10 are making the best decision as well.
Yeah.
Now, that's when an attack starts to function. And, it comes back to the point of how many tries we've scored in this Six Nations. That's where it is. We've brought in an attack coach who I am sure over time will be brilliant, because as a player he was brilliant. As a coach he's been pretty good up at Wasps. But,
it takes time.
It takes time.
But also, when he's at Wasps, he only has Wasps players to cope with and do. And so he sees them all the time. He doesn't get changed, and he can pick what they do. You don't get that with England at the moment. You don't get consistency of selection or availability because of various things, some to do with Jones, some not to do with Jones. But insofar as the ones that are to do with Jones, he's not getting that either. So, I always said this about Andy Robinson. When Andy Robinson had to go to Scotland, went to Scotland and could only pick from their relatively limited number of players, he turned out to be as good a coach as we knew he was for the England forwards when they won the World Cup. When he was the head England coach, the point at which I just lost all sensibility with him was when he picked 3 different players in the back row, all out of position. From where they play for the normal positions. I just thought, I don't know what's going on now. And it seemed to me again, the problem wasn't that. The problem was in selection and thinking, I'll just tinker with this, tinker with that. That will solve this. That will solve that. Instead of doing what he was demonstrably very good at, coaching a group of players to get the best out of them. And there seems to be a misnomer to me about this. Saying we want players to play as if they've not got a number on the back, to me, it means if you have a prop in an outside centre position with a flowing move, he is able to draw a man in space, keep the line straight, and put the man away to score. Or if an outside centre is the nearest man to do a clear out, and it's a back row player who has to clear out, is effective. That's the not number bit. Not you just start players any old where they start on the field and expect them to be able to play. This is what the French did for years, saying fly halves and scrum halves are interchangeable. They're not. They're demonstrably not. And now you've got world-class ones in each, and you've carried on picking them in each. Funny, isn't it? They're actually playing a lot better. And so to me, this numbers on the back thing should be a reference to things done on the field, not starting positions.
It's an all-court game, isn't it, that people are talking about? It's an ability to have a collective core group of skills that each player can replicate. And it's not, the finer details, which is what makes the difference at international level, are the bits that make a huge difference.
Yes.
So, by putting Freddie Stewart on the wing, where he hasn't played a huge amount of rugby, you're going to find there are minor errors that cause huge consequences off the back of.
Yeah.